Welcome to this Ryan Garcia versus Barcelos fight breakdown. The fight's happening obviously this Saturday in Las Vegas. Just want to go through the details before we get straight into the breakdown. Both have similar reach, but obviously a great height advantage for Barcelos at 6 foot versus 5'9" for Ryan Garcia. It's a big fight for both. Obviously, Barcelos coming off 2 draws, one against Manny Pacquiao last time out. Ryan Garcia coming off a loss against Romero, who, look, he didn't look great against. Once he got knocked down, we'll get into it. He didn't look great at all. And look, both need a win. Barcelos needs to stop drawing. He needs to get a win. He needs to show himself on a bigger stage against a big time fighter. And then Garcia, he needs a win. He needs to show after all these troubles he's had after the Haney fight where it got turned to a no contest. He's back. So getting straight into the first fight we'll look at is Ryan Garcia. Great fighter, character. He gets fans wanting to watch boxing and his fights especially, and that is key in this sport. He will earn more money and he will generate more money than most of the boxers, even if they are way better level or whatever. People care to watch his fights, which is key. He sells fights. He will get the biggest fights, even if he takes a loss like Romero. He still gets Barcelos for a world title. Why is that? Well, he brings in the most money out of any of these guys, which is the key thing. And look, Garcia taking this fight, Barcelos, Garcia is bringing in the vast majority of people buying this fight, clearly. Look, going through Garcia's last fight against Romero, I think it's key just to pull out a few points there. Got dropped in round 2 by a left hook. Great shot. But then just stopped firing. He couldn't fire back. He couldn't really get anything off. He didn't try. He seemed, and my comments from when the fight happened and when I reviewed the fight back when it happened was that he was scared to throw. Romero was getting shots off. Ryan Garcia, looking at round 12, Garcia's looking to clinch in round 12 when you're clearly behind on the scorecard. You're looking to clinch. You've been knocked down already. As soon as that knockdown happened in round 2, I know it was early, but he got up quite well. And maybe a round, maybe a two rounds to recover yourself. That can happen, but to not throw and to be really tentative and scared of throwing. If you look at the normal output of Garcia, then the round 2 knockdown happens, and then post that, even from his previous fights, he's terrible from Garcia. Just not willing to throw, scared to throw after getting knocked down like he did. I believe that was a definition change for Garcia in that fight. It turned from Garcia's a fighter who's going to throw shots and XYZ. He was hands up, clinching. Just a total change, a total switch of how Garcia was fighting, and just took a loss. Really, his whole style after round 2 took a loss. He did a couple rounds where he did better, okay, fair enough, but overall, especially late, was clinching, wasn't doing great at all. And, look, you go into the compared, and this is a scary point, that is his latest fight. But you take it back to the Ryan Garcia fight, Gervonta Davies, got knocked down, got countered by Davies, in round 2 as well, but got back up and fired shots off, tried to get stuff going. Good right behind the jab in round 7. So these are the notes just from when I watched the fight and when I reviewed it back when it happened. That is key. Ryan's looking to fire off shots even though he's been knocked down severely. Okay, I think it was a lighter knockdown, I'd say, in the Tank Davies fight than it was the Romero fight, but still, it wasn't terrible. He got put on his arse by both fighters, but he wasn't flat. He just sort of popped quite quickly straight back up as his legs went, but it wasn't a severe KO like we've seen before, and we've seen people come back from. So yeah, scary Tank Davis shot, obviously he did well to come back. He started firing off shots, but then obviously that body shot caught him and got him down. So, perfect shot from Tank Davies, and we'll see that he used it all the time. But look, one fighter that they both got in common is Gervonta Davies. Now on to Barcelos. I think, look, last time out was against Manny Pacquiao, got a draw. Manny coming off 4 years out of the ring, did very well to get a draw against Barcelos, but really he's past his prime clearly, and to get 2 draws in a row is makes it nervous for me, this fight, because it's that confidence. You can take a loss, you can take a KO, you can take a loss on decision. Draws, though, really, you're just not pushing yourself enough one round to push, to show you are the better fighter, to show you want it more. Shows a lack of 2 draws in a row, especially shows a lack of ability to understand when a fight may not be. You got to risk it. You may not win this. You need to push on, and you need to win the last 2 rounds and just get the 2 rounds under your belt and get that done. It's hard. Manny Pacquiao coming off 4 years out, looked decent in there, but can't tell me he's still the same fighter that he was. And Barcelos made it a very competitive fight. Expecting Barcelos to do a lot better than he did, to be honest, against a Manny Pacquiao who's been out the ring. Okay, he's been out, he's probably been training XYZ, but he's been out for 4 years. He's getting on in age as well, and these things I'd expect Barcelos to do better than he did. He got caught by a good left straight hands in that fight as well, and that's a problem. I think that's a problem. Also, that's a funny thing, is that he also, in the Tank Davis fight, got caught by quite a few straight left hands, which we'll get into. We're going to do a bit of video analysis after this part, but look, there's a big problem with him taking left hands. 1-2 jab left straight is money in the bank for any fighter against him, really. I think Tank Davies, Manny Pacquiao both did it, did well doing so. And I think that's a problem. But let's get straight into Ryan Garcia's. I want to go through Ryan Garcia's a few fight clips that I've put together to see where we're at, what I mean when we've got problems here, and really understand who likely will be better in that ring. Onto the Garcia clips, going straight into the Tank Davies as well. Round 2, doing well, pushing it back still later on, but Davies just times him. Tough for Garcia in this fight, really. It's a good shot as well, as Davies didn't just drop down. He got hit with a good left. But here we go. So going into the final parts of this fight, Davies and Garcia really feeling each other out, trying to find something. Goes for a hook. Davies gets on the inside, throws a shot off, and it's a perfect shot. And you see the amount of time difference in the shot to when he got dropped. I mean, it just shows how much a perfect shot. And from that distance as well, not really being able to get much leverage on that shot, must have been perfect to drop him like that and to feel it straight after. You see him try and switch stances. He does feel it straight away. He tries to switch and he can't. And he goes, oh, I can't. Actually, it's getting more and more painful, which is definition of a perfect shot in that area. So getting then on to the Barcelos clips, onto the Barrios clips, getting straight into it. Davies here, feinting with a jab, moving, gets him with straight left. Barrios thinks he's going to drop for the body, bang, straight, left, straight. And again, Davies coming forward with behind a jab. Gets well, he gets his straight right off against Davies. Hand should be up further than that. Double jab into the left hand. Davies a bit off, stumbling there, off his knocked down from a body shot. Look, key thing is with Barrios is, look, he struggles with that straight, clearly, and especially when you feint to the body or go into the body with a jab, with a straight, he does struggle with it. But look, Barrios has that fight back. He got knocked down twice and he came back into it, and that is key for me in this fight, I believe. He's got, who's likely to fight back after a knockdown, because I think they both could knock each other down at some point in this fight. I think Barrios will fight back. He will come back and try to fight. And actually, he performed better after them knockdowns, trying to get Davies, something on Davies. He had some better moments where he's actually hurting Davies a lot more. So, yeah, I think that's key in this fight. Who is more likely to get up off a knockdown and really push? And I think that's Barrios. And I think that's key. I think he's going to do... He may get knocked down, but I think he'll come back off it and throw hands and try to get something on Garcia post that. Now, finally, who do I think will win this fight and why? Truthfully, I think Barrios is going to get this done. I think he comes back after knockdowns. They're both very, very close in some of their styles, and I think they've both lost in similar ways to Davies, and that's key. I think they're going to be at similar levels. I think Garcia on his day, when he's at his peak and prime, he would win. But I truly believe Garcia's peak and the top level he can get is when he's like he was before the Haney fight, Devin Haney fight. He was unhinged. He seemed people were concerned for his well-being, his health, and he went in there and beat one of the best fighters in the world currently, in Devin Haney. And I think that only comes when he is, he is that unhinged Garcia. He is that guy who's doing random things, is making new stories before the fight. Currently, he's training. He's doing all the right things, and he did that before the Romero fight, and it didn't work. He got knocked down. He got back up, but he was a shell of what he was before the knockdown. He didn't really throw after that. It's just significantly down on throwing shots, and definitely didn't when Romero was throwing. He covered up. He clinched even in the final rounds when he knew he needed to get something on him. He knew he was losing. That's the scary thing for me. I think Barrios can come back after a knockdown, because I think they could both knock each other down. So I think the most likely thing is, if one of them gets knocked down, what happens? I think if Garcia gets knocked down, Barrios wins. I think if Barrios gets knocked down, I think there's still a fight to be had. I think Garcia is, oddly, for most fighters, in any sport, UFC, boxing, you would say someone who's in camp doing the right things and is doing all the right things in the media and XYZ would be the prime style of a fighter, the best preparation, etc. Garcia, on the other hand, I truly believe a guy who's, we don't know, but was definitely unhinged, was definitely causing a lot of stir in the media with what he was saying. Was he really training enough? Was he partying? Yeah, I think he probably was. That's what the rumours came out in the media, and things came out in the media pre the Haney fight. And I think that's the best Garcia, where I think the care is less. I think the worry about a fight and the concern with an opponent and the fight happening and the stage, that worry, if he's doing other things to take off his mind pre-fight, he gets in there, in his mind is at his prime, and so he's not worried about the fight as much and what's going to happen and what could happen. He's going in there to go, I'm going to win. And that worry, I think, or worry or preparation, or the amount of time you have to prepare, where you go, I've got an opponent, I'm going to fight him on this date. It's months and months and months. Can he cope with that level of training and mental, just going, I'm going to fight this guy months before, and get to the point it all goes up to a crescendo and you go, okay, I'm going to fight this guy on this date. I get there and I go, oh wait, I'm a bit nervous now. I've been waiting for this moment for months. Where in a Haney fight, clearly that wasn't all of his concern. In the media, he was clearly making news stories. He was going out. He was doing whatever he was doing. He had other things on his mind, which took his mind off the fight, which I think is key for Garcia. I think he needs that. I don't think he can wait around in a gym
and do that for the whole load of months to then get to a fight, and I think that worry, the nervousness, the anticipation of a fight builds up in him, and he gets the fight and he goes right, and then when he gets knocked down, that all comes to a, oh wait, I didn't do enough, I didn't do enough, I didn't do enough. Where look, in the Haney fight, he knew, I'm pretty sure, if even I think even if you asked him, he didn't do enough in training, but he went, I'm going to beat you. I'm just a better guy. I'm just a better boxer, and I just know it. I don't need it, and I'm going to show the world. And that's the mentality Garcia needs, and I think that's the real problem in this fight. I think Barrios is going to win. I think Garcia needs to rethink how he helps in that mentality stage of pre-fight. The months of training. And I think that's the key. I think Barrios gets this done by decision. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.